Hey there, Soul Tribe. It is the Joy Healer, Kathy Weiss here. I use my gifts as an intuitive and a clairvoyant and a source energy channel to help people recalibrate to a life of joy or recalibrate to their joy, which feels like deep fulfillment at the level of the soul. And that is really what we're all longing for, that deep feeling of fulfillment at the level of your soul. That is joy. And I help people recalibrate themselves to that. And it's just like so awesome. And why would you want anything less than that for yourself anyway, right? Okay, I am coming to you live from my reading room here on the central coast of California. And I do have your weekly energy reading for the week of February 24th through March 1st, 2020. And I got a couple of goodies for you here. So let me give you the rundown and then we'll dive in. We're going to have some energy healing in the form of colored light that you can choose to receive, and I'll tell you how to do that. We're going to be talking about this week's collective energy, which is way super indecisive, and I do have the solution to your indecisiveness this week, so hang tight for that. And I'm also going to be answering the burning question, what the heck is up with the Joy Healer thing? So if you have been hanging out with me for a while, I've been calling myself Lightworker. I've been calling myself an intuitive and a clairvoyant, and just recently I've changed that to the Joy Healer, and I'm going to give you the backstory on what the heck that's all about. It's a little bit of a job title change, but really, in essence, the rest of it is all the same good stuff. So hang tight, because there's lots of juicy goodness coming down your way, including down here in front of me, I've got some carnelian for clarity, and some clear quartz to amplify the carnelian, the clarity. If there is one thing I knew for sure about your energy reading this week, is that it was the color orange. Like, I painted my nails a couple days ago, gold, and amplifying gold for the color of the year, and orange for the week. We're going to amplify both of those. Like, I had no choice today but to wear orange for you guys and to bring orange in. And we're going to use that in today's energy healing. There's a lot of different properties to the color orange and what it brings, but one thing that it does help with is clarity, and we definitely need it with the indecisive energy going on this week. So if you'd like to receive energy healing in the form of colored light, you just put your hands in an open receptive position. You can hold them kind of up towards mine near the camera. You can have them just open, like on your lap or by your sides. If you're not so sure what the heck the energy healing thing is all about, or you're just kind of curious but you don't want to participate, just softly close your hands. Gentle fists interlace, palms against your body, face down. Any of those is going to go ahead and close you off to the energy healing for today. So let's get started. I am so definitely sending today warm, clear orange light, like cylindrical shaped, with the outer rim being gold. You might not feel anything. You might not think anything is happening, other than that my cats are being fussy in the background. I don't know if you can hear them. You might feel a little bit of warmth in your hands, or like a tingling sensation. You might, I'm laughing because of the cats, guys. You might later feel a little bit like emotionally lighter, or you might have a better sense of clarity or creativity, like coming up with a creative solution to a challenge or a problem. Okay, cool. I hope you enjoyed and received that. So, shall we talk about the indecisiveness that's going on right now? Now, I know Mercury is retrograde, and for some of us who use that to help us make meaning in our lives, we can feel challenged around communication or with some aspects of technology and technology breaking down. I'm a little bit stumbling with communication myself, but I feel like that's more coming from the collective indecisive energy than the Mercury retrograde energy. So remember, I am a part of the collective along with you. So the energy that is affecting the collective is definitely something that I feel and can also be affected by it. And remember, collective energy is just a piece of your puzzle. It's not the whole pie. But with the indecisiveness that's going on, two things. Number one is when we get indecisive and we have trouble making a decision and moving forward, that tends to contribute to the feeling of being stuck. Okay, so a lot of you may be feeling stuck, which we talked about last week. So you can always go back and watch last week's video also, which may bring some helpful information into you. But the reason why many of you are feeling stuck is because we've got option A and option B. And here's a really great example just to kind of help put it. Oh my God, can you hear the cats? They're like, oh my gosh, hang on. They're like going so crazy. I'm going to break it up. Don't go anywhere. Hey. Okay. Sorry, you guys. I thought my cats were going to totally start like fighting, and I just had to like knock it down for a second. All good. Okay. So, indecisive. Option A, option B. And I'm going to give you like a really simple example because these option A, option B things that we're getting tripped up on this week, they aren't like huge, monumental, like life-altering decisions. They're like little things that we feel like aren't that important, but we're getting sort of energetically stuck in them. So here's a great example. Today, when I was creating the little cover to go on Facebook and whatnot for your video, I was like, should it be called Who is the Joy Healer? Or What is the Joy Healer? And for like 10 minutes, I changed it back and forth, and it just felt so ridiculous. To the point where I was like, you know what? I'm taking my co-healer Agnes for a walk because this is silly. This is not a huge life or death situation, and yet I'm stuck and I can't make a decision between the two. So I threw her in the car and I was like, I'm not even going to think about it, worry about it later. And before we were even at the park where we take our walk, I was like, oh, it's option C. It's both. It's A and B. Who and what is the joy healer? So in your life where you're feeling stuck, and again, it's not like this huge monumental thing, but it's like, it's both. Like, should I order this pair of shoes or that pair of shoes? You know what? Order them both. Try them both on, decide which one you like, and send the other ones back, okay? So whatever the situation is in your life that's feeling really like sticky and indecisive, find a creative solution that incorporates both options in some way. And know that that's not a forever thing. You can always change it. And as a matter of fact, I've even changed the title of today's video from what it originally was to something else, and it'll probably change again by the time I get done posting it. But the point is, find a solution to your stuckness that incorporates some aspect of both of the things, and that's going to help you just go ahead and move forward, and that's going to create some clarity, and then maybe from there you'll narrow it down, or maybe it was the combined solution that was the best one anyway. And again, what I'm hearing for all of you guys is that this is on small stuff this week. This is like literally, should I order that t-shirt or that t-shirt? Yeah, order them both, make a decision, send one back. Or like, I don't know. I can't even think of another situation for you guys right now, but it's like small niggly stuff, but it's tripping you up. So just option C, both, move on. Okay, so let me answer the burning question. Last week's video had a huge segment in it about ask questions. Ask questions, ask questions. And I was so thrilled, number one, at the number of questions that I got behind the scenes from people. So like, rock on for following the guidance and asking your questions. And one of them was, I noticed that like you changed all your stuff to say the joy healer. what's going on with that? What is the joy healer thing? So it's story time, and I promise that this story time, y'all, if you've been hanging out with me or if you're new to me, you know I don't love doing like the all about me show and telling a lot of stories about myself unless there's going to be like a little wrap up of how it's going to really be beneficial to you. So hang out and listen to the story, knowing that there is something coming that will make it not really so much about me, but more about how that's useful and helpful to you. A year ago, I like when I started thinking about this, I'm like, this journey to the joy healer started last year when I signed up for a program called B School, which is like it's not like a business course, it is a business course to help people like myself who work for themselves communicate with other people what it is they do, what are their services or what are their products. And I chose to do that because I knew that as a light worker and an intuitive and a clairvoyant, that people may have misunderstandings, and like I really wanted to be able to clearly and concisely communicate my gifts and my offerings to people. So throughout that program, I was also working with a mentor who was inside the program. She's an amazing woman named Michelle Martello, by the way, and y'all need to go check her out, especially if you are in web design or digital strategy, because that's her jam and she's amazing. Well, I've known two things. I've known Michelle for a really long time, and I got to meet her live and in person, but I'm hearing back up to the beginning of B School again because I met Michelle after that was over. So part of the homework in this B School program was to ask other people what they perceive my strengths are. And I was kind of nervous, and it felt a little bit weird to send people this email saying like, hey, I'm doing this thing and I'm looking for what do you perceive my strengths to be? And the weirdest one was that I sent it to my husband, and I really thought, he's like so enmeshed in his own work, and like our work is very separate from each other, and I really didn't expect a response from him. But he was one of the first people to respond back, and he said, your greatest strength is your ability to find joy no matter what. And like I got so like touched by that. And then behind that were all these other responses about my joy. And it was fascinating because, guys, like more than 20 years ago, I was a fucked up mess. I was a codependent train wreck of a 25-year-old, and I have spent more than 20 years learning and studying and integrating information about how to live a life that is not only aligned with my purpose, which was really important to me, but one that feels really great and really joyful. And apparently I have succeeded because as I started getting those responses, joy kept showing up. And then random people that I didn't even know would comment like, oh my God, that picture is pure joy. You look like pure joy. And the word just kept showing up over and over and over again in this 8-week program. So then the mentor part with Michelle, she had a live event in Richmond, Virginia last summer. It was like June, I think, when it was. And I've known Michelle for like 10 or 11 years, but we've never met in person. So I had the opportunity to go and meet her. And we had this really cool like group event thing one day. And the second day was a much smaller, intimate, one-on-one type situation. And as we were talking about joy and my clairvoyant gifts and that I'm a healer and all of these things, and this is where I get a little bit like foggy. I just remember saying, I'm not a joy healer, I'm the joy healer. And I meant it like I am the joy healer. So because she is a web and digital strategist, her first thing was, let's look up thejoyhealer.com and see if it's available. And dudes, you guys, thejoyhealer.com was available for $12, which is like, that means nobody's ever owned it. It was all mine. I grabbed it. I came home from Virginia and I was like, I wonder if the Joy Healer is available as a handle on Instagram. Like, there's no way, right? Like, that's way too freaking cool for that to be available. And guys, the Joy Healer was available on Instagram. So I set up a temporary account to hang on to it because there was this little piece of my mind saying, not yet, not yet, not yet. You are the joy healer, but we're not going to do this quite yet. But then I went onto YouTube, and y'all, Kathy Weiss, the Joy Healer, was available on YouTube. And guess what? I went onto Facebook, and it was there. It was on every platform that I use, completely available. Like, when shit like that happens, you guys, hello, the universe is saying this is the thing. So, number one, who is the joy healer? It's me. Have I really changed so much? No, other than that, I'm just changed my job title, and I'm focusing more on healing people and recalibrating them towards their joy, which is their soul's purpose. Okay? They're like a little bit of a reframe of the words. But here's where it got really cool. So I had all that on the back burner, right? Like I knew the joy healer was going to come eventually. And then in January of this year, I got on this super groovy group live call session thing with some other women who also channel source energy. And we were talking about the new year and channeling these cool messages. And one of the other women named Gail was channeling and said, we're in a time of soul crisis, when people have forgotten their joy. And I don't know if she said joy is their birthright, but in that moment, I was like, joy is our birthright. Period. Hands down. End of conversation. Everybody's soul purpose is to align with their joy. And how that looks externally is going to be a little bit different for each of us. But ultimately, joy is our birthright. And I was like, oh my God, Gail, you're so right. We are in soul crisis because we've been trained to yearn for happiness. We've been trained to yearn for safety, or educated, or whatever word you want to put on that. It's like I'm starting a joy revolution. Like right now, January 2020, joy revolution is happening. Okay. And again, it was like I didn't know anything else about that. And other than that, my guides were like, sit with this. It's not time yet. I'm like, okay. So let's cue back to my mentor, Michelle. I was like, Michelle, I'm going to do this joy revolution thing. And then all of a sudden, the whole thing lined up in my mind. And it was like, it's not the joy revolution, or it is a revolution, but the name of the thing is the Joy Academy. And the Joy Academy is all up here in my brain, guys, and it's a 6-month program to teach you how to recalibrate to your joy. And so when I was speaking with my mentor, Michelle, she was like, well, you need to unleash the joy healer now. Now's the time, because the Joy Academy is obviously run by the joy healer. I was like, oh. And so here we are at the end of February, where I am unleashing the joy healer on you. I'm not unleashing the Joy Academy quite yet, because like I said, every single piece of it is clearly up here in my brain. I've got it all mapped out, y'all. And what I need to do is take a 1-week writing retreat to get all the information out of my brain and onto the screen. But here's the deal. If you're like, oh, Kathy, Joy Academy has got my name all over it, we can get on a call. You can comment, you can private message me, you can go to thejoyhealer.com, and at the bottom of the Work With Me page, there's a link where you can schedule a curiosity call, and we can just talk about it now. Just because it's not typed up on the screen doesn't mean I don't know the stuff. I do. It's all up there. So that's that. Like my guides were like, okay, we're done. We need some oracle cards. And this goes back to the indecisive thing, the indecisive energy of A or B. Because this morning I was like, do we need spirit animals or do we need sacred rebels? Spirit animals, sacred rebels. And I was like, oh no, it's not option A or option B this week. It's option C, which is both. So we're going to start with spirit animals and move on to sacred rebels. And the intention I'm setting for you with the spirit animal deck. Oh, that's interesting. It's not going to be the same intention for both decks. The intention I'm setting for the spirit animal deck is clarity. What message from this deck can we get to support clarity in this really indecisive energy that's going around? So when people work with me one-on-one in private sessions, I let them choose where in the deck the card is. And that one looks like so obvious, but what I'm hearing is it's not the obvious one today. I think that goes a lot along with, that goes a lot. Can you hear the wind chimes? I don't know if the window's not open. You may not be able to hear them. Okay. I totally got like way distracted when I looked at the card for you guys. Because it's parrot spirit, and parrot spirit says, watch your words. Our words create our reality. Our words are our wand. There's this wonderful author named Florence Scovel Shinn. And she was writing like way in the early 1900s about law of attraction and your energy and how your words are your magic wand. And so when we're indecisive, sometimes what it is that we need to speak with precision in order to create that decisiveness or that clarity. And in the guidebook, it says, what are you saying to yourself and what message are you repeating? You're not stupid or lazy or whatever because you're feeling indecisive. What you are is seeking clarity. That's all it is. So, when parrot spirit appears, it's time to be more mindful of your self-talk and its qualities. What do you say to others? And are you repeating what you truly believe? Remember to speak with light and love. Remembering to speak with light and love can become a habit. Be generous and compliment. Whoa, my reading ability right now is a little bit struggled. Be generous with compliments and thanks, affirming that all is good. The universe will reflect back to you the story that you tell. So when you're seeking clarity and you're struggling, it's like, can you slow down and speak really clearly and really highly of yourself and really highly of the challenging situation? Because the more highly you can speak of those things, the more the clarity is going to come. But again, remember this week, it's the creative solution of A plus B, not A or B. I'm hearing to tell you guys this story is so random. And again, it's like, I think it's to illustrate that the A or B thing is not things of major consequence. I was looking at this bikini online that I really wanted, and I couldn't, they had like 2 different styles of top. And I was like, oh, should I get that one? I like this part of this one. Or should I get that one because I like that part of that one? And it was like, you know what? I'm ordering them both. I'm going to try them both on and decide which one I like and then send the other one back. Like, this is not life or death. Again, I'm like repeating that to you. It's not life or death stuff this week, but speak clearly. So in that example I just gave you about like the 2 different bikini tops, I was speaking really clearly, like, I like this aspect of this design or this style, and I like this aspect. These are both really valuable. So then that can help me come to a decision, and when they arrive and I'm trying them on, I will look really highly at those aspects to make the decision. Okay, not life or death, but still, when the energy is indecisive, that helps. Okay, Sacred Rebels is here, and the word that I heard is confidence. So I'm going to ask that the card that comes out from Sacred Rebels is here to uphold and elevate your confidence this week, okay? And I'm like cracking the deck. So we've got clarity with the parrot spirit, and we have dream a beautiful dream with the Sacred Rebels. I feel like we've seen this card recently, maybe not in the weekly energy readings, but sometimes I post pictures of cards on my Instagram, like on the weekends and stuff, like, hey, here's just a little like energy boost for the weekend. Maybe that's where this one is coming from. And you can hang out with me on Instagram at The Joy Healer if you want some of those extra little tidbits that come up throughout the week. Dream a beautiful dream. And this is confidence that we're asking to support with this card. And it says, there is a part of you that wants to dream of beauty and bring it to life in as many ways as possible. In how you eat and dress and look and behave and create art and relate to your community, etc. So if you have come to believe that beauty is superficial rather than a genuine expression of your heart's desire, you may be blocking your ability to create harmony in your life. Humans are designed to have desire. And one of our core desires is for things that are beautiful. Humans have been creating art and self-adornment, like, I don't, probably since humans really came into being, right? This is why we wear jewelry and makeup and put flowers and candles and all of those things. They aren't frivolous. It is a core desire to have beauty in our lives. And when you can create an environment, whether it's your home environment or your appearance in the environment, or your food environment, or your relationships, whatever it is, when you can dream and allow and build beauty in a way that's meaningful to you into your life, you start to cultivate your abiding joy. And I'm hearing we'll talk about this later, but there is abiding joy and ecstatic joy, and creating a life of beauty that's meaningful for you contributes to your abiding joy. So, like, I get it. What I choose to create as beauty with pieces that are like from Morocco, I think is where that's from, or, flowers from the garden and all crazy bookshelf, whatever, may not be your idea of a beautiful environment. Maybe your idea of a beautiful environment is more sleek and modern or airy or rustic or whatever it is. But to move towards your abiding joy is to create an environment of beauty. And you're like, what does that have to do with confidence? Well, it has to do with trusting that your idea of beauty is right and correct, even if it's different from someone else's. Your guys are saying this message is complete and we love you so very much. And that's where we're going to leave it for today. But the conversation isn't over. So come back and see me next Monday for your weekly energy reading. Don't be shy if when I was talking about the Joy Academy and you don't want to wait until April when I get it all typed up and you want to talk to me right now, I would love to talk to you about it because I'm so stoked about this thing. So message me or go on to thejoyhealer.com. At the bottom of the Work With Me page, you can schedule a curiosity call and we can just talk about it. There's no obligation to talk. And I just get like such a thrill out of hanging out and connecting with you guys. That brings me abiding joy, and sometimes ecstatic joy too. So let's hook up and connect, okay? I love you guys so much. I appreciate you being here with me and spending some time to hang out on a Monday and hear about your week. And I'm sending you lots of love and clarity and confidence for the rest of the week. And I will see you again next time. Okay? Namaste. Love you guys. Bye.